It's confession time. I have not been looking forward to making this video because I failed at my goal and I didn't want to admit that. If you've been following me at all, which I know there's like 100 of you here, so thank you for being here. You're amazing. I set a goal to launch my art shop in 30 days, which would have been August 25th, and I failed at that goal. But the good news is I did launch my art shop. So I achieved my goal, but it was 3 weeks later than I planned on. It was September 15th instead. And I'm totally okay with that now, but the process was a little bit frustrating. So I just wanted to walk you through what happened, what set me back, what kept me moving forward, what I learned, and why those extra 3 weeks were actually a really good thing. So as artists, I know we usually have to set our own deadlines. Unless we're doing client work, usually the only way to move forward is to pick a date. And at least for me, a deadline really keeps me motivated, which is why I did this in the first place. And I thought if I put this out on YouTube, then I will hold myself to it. And I tried, but at the end of the day, I needed more time. And so, yeah, I know that we set our own deadlines, and when those deadlines are coming up and we feel like we're not there yet, it can feel so discouraging, especially when we see other artists and creative people just posting so much online about all the things they're doing, and we wonder how are they accomplishing all these things in like a single day, and I can't even get my act together to like stick with my own deadline that I created for myself. And it can feel really discouraging, but I wanted to talk about how to find motivation when things are not going according to plan and how to keep on moving forward. So if you watched my first video about this challenge I gave myself, I set a timeline for 30 days, and that meant I needed to finish making all of my paintings. I needed to start a website, a Shopify, find printing, decide on whatever other products I was gonna do, figure out my pricing, as well as posting on social media to promote my shop. And that's a lot to do. And I knew it was possible to do in 30 days, and I just thought, okay, I'm gonna go on sprint mode. This will keep me focused. I will not do anything else. I will just focus on my art shop and I can get it done. But then what actually happened was just real life, because real life is always full of unexpected things. And I am a mom of 3 with a baby on the way any day now, really. And we just always have a lot going on. You can't plan every day exactly perfectly. I'm not in control of everything around me. We also had family come to town, and we had a big event in the family, and that took up a lot of my time, which is a great thing, and I want to spend my time doing that. But I think I underestimate sometimes how much I am able to do each day, especially when I want to be a good wife and mom to my kids and not be super cranky. So the days were flying by, this deadline was coming up, and instead of like feeling motivated like I thought I would, I just started to feel more and more overwhelmed. Like, oh my goodness, I still have so much to do. So I had about a week left before what I thought was going to be the launch date. And I just thought people were going to be so disappointed because I said I was going to open my shop at the end of August. And I was not anywhere close to being able to do that unless I like decided not to sleep or something. And I need my sleep. Part of me wanted to just give up and say, okay, this is not gonna happen, and I will just do it after the baby comes, after I'm recovered postpartum and feel back up to doing these things. But then I realized that this deadline was arbitrary. I had made it myself, and the important thing wasn't the 30 days. The important thing was launching my art shop. And I still had time to do that. I gave myself a cushion of time before the baby came. I was planning on using September just to promote the shop. And I still had a few weeks before having my baby, so I could still use that time to launch my art shop. And even though I wasn't close to hitting my goal of August 25th, I still had been moving forward in meeting my goal of launching my shop. And I still knew exactly what I needed to do. And I just knew that I needed a few more weeks to make it good. So I had announced 30 days here on YouTube. On my Instagram, I had said the end of August because I wasn't sure about it. But I did decide to set a day. I said September 15th, my shop will be open. And at that point, I was pretty confident that I could do this before September 15th. And it ended up being so good because I still wanted everything in my shop to look professional and like something I was proud of and not something that I had just thrown together in the middle of the night. So these extra weeks gave me time to like really take good product photos and to set up my email list and discount and make sure everything looked the way I really wanted it to. It also took my stress level way down, knowing that I had time to do these things and do them well. So while I could have launched my art shop in 30 days with lack of sleep and a lot of stress, I am glad that I gave myself a few extra weeks to do it because it made the whole process back into something enjoyable and something that I was proud of instead of just something that I threw together and that I was scrambling for weeks. So the big takeaways that I hope you take from this are that if you've set a deadline for yourself, I guess it's different if you are working with a client who has a deadline for you, but if you are setting your own deadlines, it's so important because that gives you motivation, but don't use that deadline as an excuse to give up if you don't meet it. It's kind of like, you know, if you set a goal to run every morning and then one morning you miss your alarm, you can't just give up on your entire goal. You gotta keep moving on. You gotta start the next day and run again. Just don't let yourself like miss too many days in a row. I think that's so important with goals, is giving ourselves grace to step back and realize what the big picture is and not give up the whole thing just because you can't be perfect. Another lesson is that there is always way more behind the scenes than you are seeing people post about online. Anybody who's launching anything, it might look easy, but it's really not, and that's okay. And you're on your own timeline here, and I don't think, just as people aren't looking as critically at everything you do, they're not worried about your timeline as much as you are. I always laugh like when people are on Instagram and you know they don't post for a month or something, and then they feel like they have to come back with this huge apology for not posting, when really like most of us didn't notice that they hadn't posted in a month. And you know, it matters more to you than it does to everybody else, and so people are just happy to see you moving forward, whatever the timeline is. And honestly, you can use it as a way to relate about your real life and your struggles, and they feel more connected to you that way. So just keep them in the loop on what's going on, and that's what matters. The other thing is that done is better than perfect. I tell myself this constantly in my art business, that if I wait for something to be perfect, it will actually never get done, because I just have picky taste, and I think we probably all do. And so we have to kind of look at things from another perspective and say that other people are not looking at our art or our shop or our Instagram or whatever as critically as we do. And so whatever we are able to put out into the world is good, because it's better than not putting anything out there. I am still really, really proud of myself for launching my art shop. I'm excited to talk about it more and the things that I learned now that it's open. And for me, it was better to launch with confidence than to just scramble and stress for 30 days and get it done. I also had in my head that I would like make a YouTube video every day while I was doing it, and that was very unrealistic. So yes, I did fail at my 30-day challenge that I set for myself, but I did not fail at my goal. I still launched my art shop. Giving myself that challenge still gave me motivation to do it, and I'm really glad that I said I was gonna do it and I stuck to it, even if it was a little bit late. So if you've ever set a deadline for yourself and you miss that deadline, don't use it as an excuse to quit. Keep on going. The deadline is less important than the outcome that you are working towards. One of my favorite sayings is that the time's gonna pass anyway, so just do the thing. It's gonna, you know, in a year you'll look back and you won't remember those extra few weeks that it took, and nobody else will either. They'll just remember that you did it, and you'll be happy that you did. If you want to check out the shop, the link is below. I'd love any feedback. I still have so much to learn now that it's open, but I'm just really, really, really happy it's open. I've been wanting to do this for years, and it just makes me happy that I achieved this goal. Even if it was harder than I thought it would be, even if it was a lot of work, I'm really proud of myself. And I don't know how much money it's gonna bring in for me, but I thought I would be more stressed about that, and I'm just feeling so much relief that this goal is something I achieved before my baby came. I'm so proud of it. And yeah, I'd love for you to check it out, for you to share your experience if you have an art shop, what's working for you, what isn't working, or you know, any thoughts about these deadlines that we set for ourselves as artists. You're doing great. If this is the first video that you've ever seen of me, I'd love if you could like and subscribe. I will work on being more consistent, but like I said, my baby's coming any day, so the consistency might come later, and I'm okay with that. But I hope that we can support each other as artists and creatives and inspire each other and share what's working so that we can all succeed. Have a great day.